click on the subscribe button, and press the bell icon, to never miss any updates.
أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. My dear respected brothers and sisters, Imam Shamsi Ali, soon to be Dr. Zakir, inshallah, and guests, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. MashaAllah, those of you who I hear from had appetizers. Those who are weak did not have appetizers. So we still have some hummus, mashallah. Most of the Middle East knows the hummus gets you going, alhamdulillah. So if you need some, please get it. I'm very grateful to NABIC to host this banquet here. And in particular, the time in which we're doing this. As Imam Zakir just said, you know, the founding of the country, the nation as we know it, of Bangladesh, in and of itself was historic. But if you think about the progress that's been made in the last 40, 50 years since its founding and how much more work still has to be done, that's one of the reasons we are here today. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala puts us in any one particular place for a reason. Today is Sunday night. Here in just the New York City area, I know of at least 4 other events that are taking place. The dentists are meeting, the medical doctors are meeting, Muna has its own local chapter function, the Jamaica Islamic Center has the General Assembly meeting. But you are sitting here right now. You are sitting here right now, and at exactly 7:31, there's absolutely no other place you are going to be that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had willed that you would be sitting here in this room. And there's a reason for that. The images you saw just now on the video, the presentation by our president, Brother Mahbub, the eyewitness account of our colleague and friend, a nurse practitioner who is giving up her time to go and volunteer in some of these difficult areas, including Haiti, but particularly now in Bangladesh, is something that tells us that we are not beyond hope. And that's the beauty of our religion. That our religion teaches us that trusting in Allah is the absolute criteria to survive anything. Trusting in God, you can survive anything. Ibn al-Qayyim, hafidhullah, said that when Allah tests you, it is never to destroy you. Think about that very carefully. When Allah tests you, it is never to destroy you. When He removes something from your possession, it is only to empty your hands for an even greater and better gift. Did you follow what I just said? So a lot of what we will do tonight, and as you understand, NABIC and the work of NABIC is not done through some foreign other government. It is all done by the money that is raised by people in the United States like yourselves. So I've been to the Bay Area with NABIC. I've been to the Midwest, in Texas, in Tennessee. We've come to New York with NABIC. All of this happens because we understand that each and every one of us, if it were not for the grace and mercy of Allah, could have been in the same position as some of our brothers and sisters whose images you saw on this video. Now I also know that if you think about just the problems, it's overwhelming. So tonight we want to do a few things. So first and foremost, to get you completely, present, to be present. The cardiologist tellers and our businessman friend reminded me that it's important that all of your blood is flowing well because we're about to do something heavy, right? Heavy. So what I need you to do, we're going to make it a little bit different than last week because some of you were with us at the other event for CARE. Just raise your right hand like this, just your right hand. Some of you, let's see if you follow directions, yeah. We're not fundraising yet. Some of you are traumatized from fundraising. You're like, don't raise your hand. The guy's going to charge you, right? Now, slowly raise your left hand, right? So you have both hands, mashallah, above, and then to pump all the blood, as the nurse will tell us, and the doctors, the blood will start to flow if you do this. And you will find on your table a pledge form, so it's so much easier to write checks, now that all the blood is flowing. Alhamdulillah. You could choose any project. You could look at into the eyes of one of the young girls and say, you know what, tonight I want to support NABIC because I understand what it would mean for that young girl to be on the street, to be abandoned. And NABIC works to establish the Safe Home Project, for example, that just doesn't say, oh, we feel pity for you because you were on the street. No, you are brought in to an environment that focuses on your self-esteem, that focuses on education, that focuses on your ability to stand on your own 2 feet. So that, and we didn't play the full video, there's even one video in which some of the young girls say, when I grow up, I want to be, and one of them even said, I want to be a pilot. She wants to fly and be a pilot. You are sitting here in New York City with a few dollars today, committed over the next few months or the next year, you're able to make these dreams come true for some of the most vulnerable, not in any other country, but in potentially your own country if you are from Bangladesh. So a few things will happen tonight. Number one, renew your intention and say, oh Allah, for whatever reason I left home today, for whatever reason I left home, maybe I haven't seen some people in a long time, maybe I want to go see some friends and hang out with them, right? Right now, just say, oh Allah, help me to renew my intention so that I may be able to receive the message. Now Imam Zakir mentioned stories. Those stories, we could have been going on and on and on. On and on and on. Of all of the companions, including, of course, the beloved Prophet ﷺ, who sacrificed so much with whatever little they had. Whatever little they had. So renew your intention, number one. Number two, be fully convinced that not 1 penny more or less is going to be raised this evening, except what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has already written. You have to firmly believe that. You have to firmly believe, because you know what? You remember the dua that you made. It's an intimate exercise in Islam. We don't have priests like in other religions where the imam, you go to the imam to make dua. No, you pray alone. You put your forehead on the ground and you prostrate and say, I am in a desperate situation. In my personal life, my academic life, this is around finals time for a lot of students in college. I'm a professor, so I think about that, about your job, about your family life, about your health, about your wealth. You make these prayers. So don't worry tonight about what's going to be raised. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has already brought you here at least to receive the message. And last but not least, as you're sitting here, you'll be distracted because it is the job of shaitan or Satan to distract you when good deeds are being done. When sadaqah is being asked for, shaitan and 70 associates will remind you of poverty, will remind you of all of the things you should be doing. Well, how about the end of the year vacation? How about trying to, pay for, if you will, renovations for the house? At the end of the year, there's a lot of advertisements for a new car. The car you're driving is so, last year, you should buy a new car. All of these reminders will come. Focus, and remember the du'as that you have made. What were those du'as? Maybe one of you made a du'a, and you remember it for your first apartment. And for the apartment, the management company said, you have to fill out a credit application. And you bent your forehead onto the ground and said to Allah, oh Allah, help this credit application to be approved. Help this credit application to be approved. Help this visa application to be approved so my family can join me. Help me to get this job. Help me to get married. Help me to have children. Help me to have righteous children. Every dua, one after the other. Give good health to my mother or my father or my son or my daughter. Dua after dua after dua. And the amazing thing is, if you stopped to count all of the du'as that you have made and all of the answers to those du'as that Allah has given. This is why in Surah Ar-Rahman we are told over and over again, فَبِأَيِّ آلَاءِ رَبِّكُمَا تُكَذِّبَانِ. Which of the blessings of your Lord will you deny? Will you deny? Now think about what it means to give hope to these young children and to these young families. Think about the safe house. Think about the computer literacy. Think about the relief that NABIC is giving to our brothers and sisters of the Rohingya community. Sister Nina said that in the media, if it's not in the news, it'll be forgotten. They were already the forgotten people. Their rights have been diminished since 1982, when the Citizenship Act completely excluded them from being included. All other ethnicities in Burma were included in Myanmar, except the Rohingya. They had no rights. They were already devastated, but we don't care. We don't pay attention until it's on CNN or it pops up as an alert. So they were already forgotten. But now Allah is saying, I'm bringing you in the 21st century eyewitness accounts. Even the Congress took how many years to finally declare that as a genocide in progress. So feel uplifted because of the faith to which you belong. Feel uplifted because of the Prophet, peace be upon him, who came as a mercy to all of mankind. And indeed Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reminds us in the Quran, وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَاكَ إِلَّا رَحْمَةً لِلْعَالَمِينَ. That we would have sent you not, O Muhammad, except that you came as a mercy to all of mankind. So tonight, when you give, you're actually giving back to Allah. You're actually giving back to Allah because He has given you in the first place. He has already blessed you in the first place. And over again, you've been able to reap the rewards of those blessings. And they show up in our lives daily. Even sitting here, it's raining outside. Winter is supposed to already be here, but because of global warming and climate change, it's fairly warm and it's raining. It could have been a devastating snowstorm. The organizers, when I arrived here at 5:32, they told me to come at 5:30 and I pay attention. At 5:30, 5:32, they were worried. What is going to happen with the rain? Will people show up? But most of us came probably in a car, or at least were driven here, with a fairly, decent environment. We're sitting, it's a climate-controlled environment, right? We're relaxed. We're about to have dinner very soon. We had appetizers already. And the place, by the way, the place we're sitting in, do you have any sense of the Elks Lodge, what it even is? The Elks Lodge, what it says there, the diagram, look up there, BPOE, the Benevolent Protective Order of the Elks. These were people who were actors and entertainers. In 1860s, especially in 1868 in New York, they actually gathered together, actors and entertainers, in these types of halls to drink alcohol on Sundays, because it would save them from the taxes they had to pay on alcohol on other days and other nights. And that led into, they used to be called the Jolly Corks, the corks of the alcohol bottles. We have now mentioned the name of Allah and sanctified some of these places because of the good deeds, and they also moved their mission for charity and justice and benevolence and other things. Everything has meaning. Think about it. Look at that logo up top. Do you have the pointer, the clicker? The logo on every one of these. You see where the elks, the horns? It's 11 o'clock. They used to gather and remember at 11 o'clock the people who were absent and had passed away. That has meaning. Every single thing in this hall has meaning. Our religion has meaning. When we give, we don't give without purpose. When we give, we don't give without intention. When we give, we don't give without even making dua. It is acceptable in Islam to make a dua. To be selfish, even when you're spending for someone else, make a dua for yourself. So tonight, either you have the funds and you say, you know what, I'm going to make this donation outright to NABIC, and that's how I'll do it. Or you'll say, I'll do it in installments. I don't have the full amount, but I'll do it over a period of time with a few breaks. Or you'll say, everyone that I invited couldn't be here tonight. As I mentioned, many other events are happening. It's also Sunday night. It's typically a weeknight. People have work and other things, right? And so maybe I have family and friends, and I will invite them by phone and email and text. and tweeting at them and Facebook and Snapchat and Instagram, all of these things, I'll get it done. However you do it, just remember that the intention will matter. And the person receiving it, thousands of miles away, we may never meet. We may never meet them. But the connection will be between us and them. You know why? They will raise their hands and they will make dua and say, "Oh Allah, whoever donated so that I may be taken from the streets and given an education. Whoever donated so that my cataracts could be operated on and I could see. Whoever donated so my children are having literacy, computer literacy, so they can work and serve themselves. Whoever donated for dowry-free marriages." What an innovative concept. What an amazing concept to liberate women from the shackles that we put upon them. By giving them self-sufficiency, they can sew and learn how to sew and have a small poultry farm and on and on and on. That dua is what the Prophet, peace be upon him, taught us. When you make dua for someone who is absent, because they will make dua and say, "Oh Allah, whoever donated, even though we'll never meet them." They will make a dua, whoever donated, whoever gave something to improve my life, the angels will answer and say to them, "And for you something similar to the dua you're making for that person who is absent." Who tonight says, based on the work we know of NABIC, based on all of the projects that we're doing, who tonight says that we will make the first pledge, a donation at $10,000? Before you give, we'll be making a dua. We're making a dua throughout the night because it's a very spiritual experience to donate. It's putting the believer in touch with their blessings on this earth and connecting them back to the Creator who gave them those blessings. And the dua comes to us from the same companion that Imam Zakir mentioned, Abu Huraira radiallahu ta'ala. He memorized so much of what the Prophet, peace be upon him, did and said. And that the Prophet, peace be upon him, said, every morning Allah sends two angels to see which one of his servants is spending in the path of Allah and who is holding back. To the one who spends. To the one who spends. We say to each other as human beings, make dua for me. To the one who spends, angels make this prayer. Angels have a direct connection to the divine. They watch and see who spends. They make a prayer. Allahumma a'ati munfikan khalafa. Oh Allah, give to the person something in place of what they have spent. And in the Quran, in the verses that Hafid Adnan recited, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also says, فَهُوَ يُخْلِفُهُ. If you go on to read that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, He replaces the wealth that you spend. Believe it or not, what an amazing faith to be a part of. You donate because the blessings Allah gave you. When you donate, the dua is being made to Allah to replace the wealth that you've been spent so you can have more to spend back on your family and more to donate. It's a cycle of blessings after blessing after blessing. That's the dua we'll make. Let's practice that. The dua is, and you will say Ameen, Allahumma a'ati munfikan khalafa. Say Ameen. MashaAllah. Where is the first person? Brother or a sister? You do it as a group, a family, a business, an Islamic center, a masjid community that says, we know the work that's being done, we consider it credible and important. We want to make the contribution of $10,000. $10,000. There, MashaAllah. Takbir. Your takbir sounds like you were in Minneapolis, got up at like 4 something to go to the airport to go to Chicago, then from Chicago to fly to LaGuardia, and then take an Uber to come to the Elks Lodge in New Hyde Park. That's what you sound like. Let's try that again. Takbir. You don't have to scream because it is peace. Allahu Akbar, it's supposed to be peaceful, mashallah. Allahumma a'ati munfikan khalafa. Say Ameen. MashaAllah. May Allah bless you. May Allah replace the wealth that's been spent. Where is the second hand? Again, think of groups. Think of the multiplier effect. Think of people in your minds. Bring them to your mind. It's amazing now. In the past, if someone said, oh, you know, you'll be able to just imagine someone and they will appear in front of you, you would have said, you're going crazy. Now it's called FaceTime. Thousands of miles away, you can just, with the click of a button, you can bring them up. Right? What we're saying now is, think of 10 people who can give 1,000 each, maybe in your community where you live. 20 people who can give 500 each. So when you raise your hand, raise it for 10,000. We don't expect you to have it all, but we know that you are an ambassador of goodwill. And you know you belong to a religion in which nothing is left untouched. The Prophet, peace be upon him, taught us, if you make, remember I talked about intention? If you make an intention to do a good deed, but you are unable to do the good deed, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala rewards you as if you did the good deed. So what is the good deed? You want to raise some funds to help NABIC. But if you make the intention to do the good deed, and you are able to do the good deed, you get 10 times the reward of the good deed that you try to do. Think about 10,000 and 100,000 in blessings. Where is that second, brother or a sister? Group or a family? A business, a halaqah group, a study group, an Islamic center. You have it in the back? MashaAllah. Takbir. Allahumma a'ti munfiqan khalafa. Say ameen. MashaAllah. Keep it going. Keep it going. This is beautiful. And again, we don't have a lot of time. We know it's a weeknight. It's already, you've had appetizers. We have a dinner for you, which I said in the past. That's amazing progress for the Muslim community. Really it is, because we have food for you. When I was growing up, they wouldn't feed us in fundraising events. And in fact, did you know tonight we were going to raise money? Did you know? I'm not fundraising. I'm just going to ask you a question. Raise your hands if you knew we were going to raise money tonight. Did you know we were going to raise money tonight? Are some of you shocked that we were going to raise money? They're like, why did I come? I came for the dinner, right? So when I was growing up, they wouldn't tell us it was fundraising. We were just so innocent. We would just show up. We would just drive in station wagon. That's what we owned back then, right? We would just show up, and then some uncle would get up and lock all the doors. People say, why are they locking the doors? He said, they will not let you leave till you give them money. When somebody in the back is crying and said, I'm hungry. We're not going to feed you until you give money. They say, well, I'm a diabetic. I may die. They will say, if you die in the path of Allah. I said, why are we making people die? And then somebody else would be crying. I said, why are you crying? He said, because I own it. The imam would start yelling. He said, you own a Cadillac. Because in the 80s, you own a Cadillac. We know you have money, but you don't give anything. The man would start crying. You feel guilty. Say, I have money. It's my money. It's halal money. Why are you making me cry? He said, because you don't support anything. Now I said, don't cry and don't die. Right? Nobody should cry or die in fundraising. You should be happy. Why? Think about this. Think about the fact that we are literally one dua away from wherever our other maqam, our state would have been. What if your parents, in the initial days, something had shifted with their trajectory, with the way they were going, and something shifted, you wouldn't be sitting here tonight, I wouldn't be sitting here tonight. Sears Tower, which is how it was known. Who built the Sears Tower? Who is the architect behind the Sears Tower? Anybody remember? Who is that? No, in this hall, of all halls, you should be able to say the name loud and proud. Who did that? Why? Because windy city. Chicago is a windy city. Massive, heavy winds. We need architecture that could withstand those winds. And he says, I come from a land that is destroyed by cyclones every other year, if not every year. I know exactly what you need. I will build it. Somebody made the dua for him to be able to be in America, and then somebody made a dua for him to be able to do what he did. Now we are known as the people who can construct tall buildings. We should never be known as the ones who destroy tall buildings. This is our legacy. And so this dua is critically important. We've had 2 people already with 10,000. Is there a third person before I move on for the sake of time? Again, a brother, a sister, a group, a business, a family, a community, an Islamic center, however you want to do it. Is there anybody else for $10,000? 10,000 going once, 10,000 going twice. Twice and a half? Khair inshallah, no problem at all. I'm going to give you a 50% discount for the sake of time. I'm just going to move down to 5,000. But I want you to think of 10 people. Bring them to your mind. Think of 20 people. Bring them to your mind. Those whom you go out to eat with, those whose homes you visit, those whose children, your children play with. We need good companionship. We need children who are blessed with other children who are good companions for them. Think of 20 people who you can call and say, no, I was at an event, I made a pledge. Would you be one of them at 250? 20 friends at 250 is 5,000. 10 friends at 500 is 5,000. 5 friends at 1,000 is 5,000. Don't think about 5,000 as being insurmountable. Think about it as what's doable from within your network. Where is the first of a few hands at $5,000? $5,000. MashaAllah. Takbir. Allahumma a'ti munfikan khalaqa. Say Ameen. Alhamdulillah. Where is the second person?
Hillside Islamic Center.
MashaAllah. Hillside Islamic Center. MashaAllah. May Allah bless them, bless you, and the community, MashaAllah, for your donation. Second, brother, sister again. Sisters, your network is powerful. I grew up with a mother who is of Hyderabadi Indian origin, but I don't think it matters which mother and where she grew up, where she's from, because your network is very powerful. In America, they say the NSA, the National Security Agency, knows everything. No, it's the auntie network that is stronger and faster than the NSA. You could breathe and make a mistake in one state, and your mother knows 10 states away what you did because of the auntie network. Right? It's a powerful network. So if you think about your network tonight, are there 10 friends, 20 friends you can think of? And could we get a 5,000 commitment from the sister side? We had a few from the brother side. We have one already for 5,000. Anybody else at 5,000?
2 more.
5,000. 5,000. 5,000. 2 more 5,000s? Yes? There's a discussion going on.
Yes.
Was the moon sighted?
Yes.
It's always like the moon sighting, right? Like, I'm not sure if we saw the moon. Right? When I was working at at ISNA, at the headquarters, when I first started working there, they didn't tell me that the office that I was starting to use, because I had newly come back from Malaysia and I was working as a non-profit, and I answered the phone. It was evening, after Maghrib, and I answered the phone, and the person said, "Salaam alaikum." I said, "Wa alaikum salam." And the person said, "Is there a moon? Is there a moon?" And I was like, what is this person talking about? And that extension that I was at was the one they used to record the moon sighting announcement. They were calling to ask me if there was a moon. I had no clue what they meant, right? They meant had the moon been sighted. So alhamdulillah, we had 3, right, at 5,000 so far. If we get one more at 5,000, we clear another 20,000. We had 2 10,000s. So how much is that already? MashaAllah. May Allah bless it. Right? Fourth hand, 5,000. 5,000 going once. Again, think of friends and family. Think of multiplying the blessings. Think of spreading the good news to them. You have it? Number 4, mashallah. Is that a separate one? Or is that the same one? Is it call forwarding? Separate one? That's number 4. Mashallah. Takbir. Allahumma a'ti munfikan khalaqa. Say Ameen. Alhamdulillah. Doing good? 4 is good. 4 is good. This is a train of sadaqah. In case somebody wants to jump onto the train of sadaqah, I'm just the conductor who's going to, inshallah, get us there on time. We're going to eat very soon, inshallah, and then we can continue socializing and the fellowship. Any other hands for 5,000 before I move on? 5,000 going once, 5,000 going twice. Sisters, where's that network? 20 friends giving 250 each. That's all they have to give. And suppose you only get 10 friends to give 250. No, NABIC doesn't come after you and say, you owe us the rest of the money. It's just a good deed. You try to do a good deed on behalf of NABIC and all of the people who are deserving of this. I just want to ask a quick question. Nina, is there any chance you actually attended one of these types of events? Have you seen this done before? Are you in shock? You're very much shocked, yeah. So this is how we get money out of people. So the good news is, all the money we needed has already been raised. The bad news is it's still in their pockets. I have to pay it out. So just follow along, yeah. Because sometimes we don't explain to people who are guests what we're doing. They're like, oh my God, he just keeps asking them for money. And they're my friends. I know most of them have come in and out of Europe, right? Any other hands at 5,000 before we move on? 5,000 once, twice. No problem at all. Let's keep moving. You know, one of the things I talked about with hope is that in the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in the Quran is a book not only of Ahsan al-Qasas, the best of stories, it's a book of history, but it's also a book of hope and encouragement and reassurance. And one of the things we find with the sister who was in charge of the safe home, when she, with tears in her eyes, said, and I've seen that video so many times, but it always touches me. With tears in her eyes, she said, I don't want to call it an orphanage. I don't want to call it an orphanage. You know why she's saying that? Is there a time in Islamic culture and tradition that we could remove the word orphan from our tradition? We couldn't. Because the orphan in whose memory we do all this work and we donate is the orphan that changed the world. It is the one whose father was Abdullah, but his father Abdullah died before he was born. Here is the Prophet of Allah who never saw his father. Whose mother passed away when he was only 6 years old. And if you follow the seerah, some of those years he was in the care of what they call the wet nurse, or in the rural area just outside of Mecca, on the outskirts, raised by women who were in the rural area. So maybe he was with her only a few of those 6 years. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reassured him with Surah وَالضُّحَى وَاللَّيْلِ إِذَا سَجَى مَا وَدَّعَكَ رَبُّكَ وَمَا قَلَى وَلَلْآخِرَةُ خَيْرٌ لَكَ مِنَ الْأُولَى وَلَسَوْفَ يُعْطِيكَ رَبُّكَ فَتَرْضَى. But here's the beautiful part. He is receiving revelation, and he is being reminded now that the akhirah, the afterlife, is much better for you, and here's the proof. أَلَمْ يَجِدْكَ يَتِيمًا فَآوَى. Didn't we find you, O Muhammad, as an orphan, and we took care of you? We took care of you. He was in the care of his grandfather, under his grandfather, then his uncle, then the marriage with the noble Khadija radiallahu ta'ala anha, and on and on and on. Brothers and sisters, the orphan is most cherished in Islam. She said that because you and I have not been good witnesses to the message of Islam. We don't treat orphans well in the countries from which we come. And so she was saying, this is not going to be just a house where you just throw a bunch of kids and say, you should be happy we're taking care of you. No! Instead, we should be honored that Allah allowed us to care for them. Are you following what I'm saying? Yeah. We should be honored. Why? Because the Prophet, peace be upon him, said, he referring to himself, I am the one who cares for the orphan. And then he raised his right hand and he said, will be like this in Jannah. These two fingers, barely any light passes through these two fingers. This is the company that we all desire, to be this close to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And he also said, one who caresses in our culture, just so Nina, if you're not familiar with this, in our culture, to show affection to our children, we take our hands and we comb our hand through their hair. My mother, I'm married with 4 children. My mother still does this. So don't think it's like something you outgrow. She still asks me if I drank milk before, I'm like, mother, please, like, it's okay, right? Like, are you taking care of yourself? Are you, sleeping well? She does all those things. He said, when you do this to an orphan, out of affection, and put your hand through their hair, the reward you will have is for every single strand of hair. You can't even multiply that. You don't even know what that means to a head full of hair in youth. I'm not talking about those of us who are losing our hair. Think about what that means. In this memory is what we're doing. The work we're doing is for these children to have hope. At $2,500.
There's one, actually $3,600. Shelter of Islamic Center,
MashaAllah, at $3,600. Yes, and you're very welcome. It's a free country. Make up whatever amount you want. Right? So I was asking $2,500, but if you feel inspired to give $3,600, please do it, right? MashaAllah, $3,600, but I'm selfish, so I was asking for $2,500, so I'll subtract 25 out of that, and I'll say I have 1. Where is the second? If we get 4 people, 3 more hands, at $2,500, we clear another $10,000 from your small gathering tonight. All of this is going to NABIC. And what is the dua I keep making? Oh Allah, give to the person something in place of what's being spent. And every time you say Ameen, we're hoping Allah is accepting it from us. Think about what that means. Where are second and third hands for $2,500? If you eat out, because sometimes you might wonder, where am I supposed to get $2,500 from? In the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala addresses that. لَن تَنَالُوا الْبِرَّ حَتَّى تُنْفِقُوا مِمَّا تُحِبُّونَ. You want righteousness. Everyone says, I want righteousness, I want to be righteous, I want children who are righteous. There was a mother who was pregnant and wanted a righteous child, and so she went to the Imam. The Imam said, if you just keep repeating, oh Allah, give us a righteous child, give us a righteous child, Allah will make it possible, you'll have a righteous child. And she was amazed. She kept saying it and saying it. 9 months came by, water is not breaking, and the pregnancy is not ending, and she gets worried. 10th month, finally they go to the gynecologist, and they do the ultrasound, and they look, and they find what inside? Twins. One saying to the other, after you, no, you go first. No, after you, no, you go first. And some of you didn't get that, that's okay. I'll explain that later. So Nina is a nurse, she can help understand. From Columbus, Ohio? 3,000. Are we live streaming? No. All right, so we have 3,600 and a 3,000. It's a 6,600. 4 hands would have given us 10,000. Where is number 3 for 2,500? A third person. And what are you going to give up, right? Mimma tuhibbun, what are you going to give up? What do you love? You and I, we love to eat. Is that right? Yes or no? Yes. Do we love to eat? Yes or no? Yes. You're not going to get dinner if you say no. Right? We love to eat. And I want to do the research to find the Nobel Prize for the scientist that discovers the hormone that is released when you and I see the word buffet. I'm not kidding. The most rational human being becomes irrational at a buffet. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. Right? We have to eat all of the $13.99, which is the cost of the buffet. If you want to give $2,500 tonight, your family wants to support these projects, Allah will replace your wealth. That's a dua we're making. But you can make that donation only by not eating in a restaurant 2 or 3 times in a month. Just in a month. This next year, eat more often at home, which is barakah, more barakah anyway. Even I'm shy to tell my mother that we ate out because I'm still nervous. She's going to say, I could make that for you at home for $2 or $3, right? She always says that. I'm afraid to tell her we ate out. She said, well, what did you eat? We ate. I'm going to say where. Where is that third hand for 2,500? Again, 10 friends giving $250 each from the sisters or the brothers, a network of friends, people you hang out with, people you go to, go hang out and eat with or study Quran with, whatever you do. 2,500. Any other hands at 2,500? 2,500 once? You have it? The fourth one, mashallah, takbir. Allahumma a'ti munfiqan khalafa. Say ameen. Alhamdulillah. Now I'm going to move for the sake of time and we'll close out. I mentioned being witnesses. Being witness to the message of the Quran. Being witnesses. And this is an important time. Much of what's going on, some of it is completely depraved and is happening in the name of Islam by people who are completely distorting the teachings of Islam. But there's so much more good that's being done. So much more good that's being done. Free clinics that are happening in America. The Feeding the Hungry programs that we showed even through NABIC and other organizations happening in America. People discovering Islam from Muslim practitioners, nurses, and doctors, and lawyers, and social workers who are saying, we will also do some of our cases pro bono, which means free of charge. Free of charge because we have the skill set. Allah blessed us with this knowledge and this expertise. We want to also use it. What kinds of witnesses will we be towards this message? Are we going to be the witnesses that said, I couldn't actually do all of the work NABIC is doing, but at least I could donate some money. Could you donate about less than $3 a day, for example, to do the kind of work that's being done? It will be done in your name because the dua is there. The angels record it. And it will ultimately reach people who are most vulnerable. Less than $3 a day is a $1,000 donation. I want to see how many of our hands tonight in this small room, this small gathering at the Elks Lodge in New Hyde Park. $1,000 donation. Where is the first brother or a sister? And give it on your own, give it in memory of someone. Maybe the teacher that helped you become who you are, your parents, whoever it is. I saw one hand, number 1 there in the back there. Number 2, mashallah. Number 2, number 3, mashallah. Number 4, a sister. And this is beautiful because in the Quran, Allah addresses, it's an equitable and equal opportunity faith. No woman and no man is deprived of the blessings. Directly Allah says, Innal musaddiqina wal musaddiqat. Those of the men who give in sadaqah, those of the women who give in sadaqah, Allah multiplies for them their reward. I have five there, and I have 6. But the 6th hand in a black jacket is a very young person. How old are you? 11. What's your name? Spell it for me.
AJWAD.
Ajwad, okay? And you are 11 years old. You don't look like you have $1,000. Is it a father and mother approved hand? Because you came in their car tonight, didn't you? It's going to be a long ride home if it's not. Did they approve it? Seriously? Yes? All right. Because I tell people, don't bring your kids to fundraising events. Right? The tongue is the window to your heart, and the children are a window to your wealth. If I say give $1,000 and you spend $10,000 going to Bangladesh and all these vacations, and the children are like, come on, Dad, you know you have $1,000, right? Why don't you make a donation? Right? Why don't you give for a good cause? So Ajwad and your family, may Allah bless you. That's 6. Where are 7, 8? 7, mashallah, in the back there, mashallah. Number 7, may Allah bless you. Number 7, number 7, 8, 9, and 10. 8, mashallah, another sister, may Allah bless you. 9 in the front here. Where's number 10? $1,000. Again, 10 friends giving you 100. Just get it done. Text them all, email them, go onto your group and say, I'm at an event for NABIC. We're about to have amazing food, I think. What's for dinner tonight in the back there? You're about to serve us? What's for dinner? A lot of good stuff. That's unfortunately the problem with the Muslim restaurants, right? They don't put up the prices and they don't do the description, right? So you have to wonder what's going to happen. But we believe you because the hummus was solid, so we believe it's going to be a lot of good stuff, right? I have 9 people. Where's the 10th hand for 1,000? Less than $3 a day. Less than $3 a day. MashaAllah. A young boy. What's his name? What's your name? Azhar? Azhar. Okay? And he is how old? 7 years old, mashallah. So these are amazing moments because this young boy will remember that his parents encouraged him to raise his hand at an event to give donations long after we're gone when somebody else asks and he himself is perhaps older, married, and has a job and is giving, he will remember, I remember my parents used to give, and that's why I give, and it goes on and on and on. That was number 10. Any other hands at $1,000? We're about to close out. Any other hands? You have it? Number 11 there, mashallah. Number 11, where is number 12? You're thinking about it. It's kind of inside number 12, mashallah. You're thinking about it. This way?
Yeah.
Wait, which, are you using an iPhone or Android? Yeah. That causes problems with Qibla. I was in the Bay Area, and all the Apple people pulled out their iPhones. And then all the Google people pulled out their Androids, and they're like, where's the Qibla? I go, brothers, the prayer for Maghrib is very short. The time is short, just figure it out, and let's pray, right? MashaAllah. So that was 12, 13, all right, 12 and 13. Where is number 14? 14 and 15 are here. You are thinking about it. Angels are recording, and they're writing down. Number 14, here's the name. 15, here's the name. How do you know that your name is not about to be recorded? And it's amazing. We say that to our kids all the time, right? The angels are recording your good deeds and your bad deeds. Be careful. My sister was disciplining her son, and she said, you have to behave. The angels, they record everything. And suddenly he did this. And she goes, what are you doing, Muslim American children? He says, I'm trying to mess up the angel's handwriting. I thought about that. I thought, oh my Allah. Like, I think Islam in America is going to be okay. These are mashallah kids, right? These are mashallah kids, not ordinary kids. We couldn't talk back to our parents. When I was growing up, Ya Allah help us. I didn't even know what my parents looked like for a long time, because I could only look down. We were not allowed to look up. We knew what shoes they wore, right? And long before the drone was invented, we knew that shoes could fly. I don't know if shoes flew in your home, but they did. Yeah, some of you don't know what I'm talking about. It's okay. Alhamdulillah. All right, so we have, mashallah, 14, 15th hand at 1,000. We close out, 15. Khair, inshallah, no problem at all. Now think about this, just to add to the last part of this, right? Less than $1.50 a day of your money saved here and donated to NABIC, and it's going to reach people who we will never probably meet, whose lives will be improved. A head of a household who gets a cataract surgery and now can see, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows the difference it will make in their life. the dowry-free marriage, breaking the shackles of that institution, the ability to be self-sufficient. The pride, if you see the video again, look at the pride in her eyes when she says, I sew these clothes and I sell them myself, and whatever I get helps me to be self-sufficient. And then, by the way, it's not that they run with the money. They paid back NABIC for the initial loan, and it keeps recurring. So your dollar and your wealth is being multiplied and replaced over and over again, and family after family after family is benefiting. $500 is less than $1.50 a day. Any hands at all at $500. And 5 friends giving $100, you could get it done. 10 friends giving $50 each. Say, raise your hand tonight and say, I'll be the one that supports at 500. Where's any first hand at 500? Brother, sister, a group, you have 2? 2 at 500, mashallah. Where are 3? 3 in the back, mashallah. Where's number 4 in the back, mashallah? Stop looking at the sisters, yeah. Number 5 at 500. No, I know, brother, mashallah. I think you just started blushing. It must be hurting. Number 5, mashallah. It hurts when we blush. I don't know, for others it's so much easier. No, it's okay. I tell people, if you're sitting on opposite sides, don't say, oh, I didn't discuss with my husband or I didn't discuss with my wife. Just take out your phone and text your husband or your wife and say, may Allah accept it from us, and then turn off your phone. And they'll be quite worried about what Allah should accept. MashaAllah. 5 at 500. Any other hands at 500? 6 and 7? Could we get 6 and 7? Think of it in memory of your teachers, your parents, somebody who helped you through that difficult time. You give tonight on their behalf. Give tonight on their behalf and make a dua for them. Number 6, mashallah. Where's number 7? Number 7. 7 rhymes with? Seriously? Heaven, yeah. No, raising Muslim American children, we have to sing them to sleep. We have to sing to them when they're on the potty, right? For potty training. Like, we had no music. There was no, soundtrack for us to learn to do potty training. You have 7?
He directed me to look at there, but I said I'm going to look at
Oh, he's afraid. That's right. Number 7 at 500. Oh, he's pointing at his family? Okay, all right. Number 7 and his family. No, there was somebody who came to the Imam, it's a story, and they said, I want eternal life. And the sister said, I want eternal life. The Imam said, you should get married. She said, how will that help me get eternal life? He said, it will diminish the desire quite fast. Some of you didn't get that either. So that's all right. It's okay. Zakir, we got tough times there. All right, we have 6 hands, it's 500. Do you have 7th? 7th go to heaven? 7th? MashaAllah. Is she wanting to raise her hand, or are you raising it for her? Because both of you are. All right, what's her name? She doesn't want to. She's an American Muslim kid. She's not going to. You can't make them do anything.
My name is Afifa.
Spell it?
Afifa.
Afifa, mashallah, beautiful name. And she raised, mashallah, and your mother and your family approved it? Right, Afifa? Right? 7th hand, mashallah. Mashallah. Takbir. Allahumma ati munfiqan khalaqa. Say ameen. Mashallah. So we're going to conclude now. Yes. No, most of them know it, and then one of them may be named Iman. I'm in trouble. All right, no, Imam Zakir is reminding me, some of you may not have heard, a Syrian Imam told me this, may Allah grant peace and justice to the land of Syria. Say Ameen. He was saying that people were sitting like this, and they were worrying about giving money. And there was a husband and wife, and the Imam knew that they had the money. So he said, why don't you donate the money? They said, no, we have a son, we have to get him married. And so the Imam said, no problem, we'll make a dua to Allah. Oh Allah, bless the young man with the righteous wife, and Allah will make it happen, so just give the money, don't worry about it. And the mother said, we have a big problem. The son is already in love, so we have to get him married. The Imam said, let's make a different dua. Oh Allah, remove the girl from the boy's heart. Remove the girl from the boy's heart and fill his heart with Iman. And the father said, Ya Allah, the girl's name is Iman. Right? So it's going to be hard to fill that. All right, inshallah. It's good. All right, so we're going to close now. But I want to remind you of 2 things. In the Quran and in the Sunnah of the Prophet, peace be upon him, in the Hadith, there is never a mention of the amount you should donate for the dua we make. Let me say that again. In the Quran, all of the giving, it never says if you give Like, at the end of the year, December 31st, the accountants know this. When you do itemization of your taxes, if you give a certain amount, then you'll get a tax deduction. In the Quran or in the Hadith, it never says the amount. In fact, the Prophet, peace be upon him, also said what? Even a smile in the face of your brother and sister is sadaqah, is a form of charity. And the closest he came to saying an amount would be the hadith in which he said, ittaqun nar, save yourselves from the fire, walau, even if it is with half of a date. But that was an expression. It was not an amount. So tonight, don't say, he never asked. He never asked me for what I can give. Maybe I can only give 1 cent, 1 penny tonight. If you can give that 1 penny with sincerity and say, this, at this point, is all I can do, believe it or not, it could be enough to extinguish the flames of the fire with sincerity. So if you give tonight, you have the pledge form, whatever you want to give. Whatever you want to give. The dua I was making was, Allahumma a'ti munfikan khalafa. Oh Allah, replace the wealth that's been spent. It's not an amount. It's whatever you're spending. 3 ways that happens in America, how that happens? You make a dua, we will all make that same dua in a minute, and then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala could answer your dua. If He answers it, all of your worries and your blessings and your wealth has already been replaced. Number 2, NABIC, as you can see, is an American organization. It's US based. If you donate tonight and the donation is tax deductible, Allah replaces your wealth. You following? Allah replaces your wealth. And the third way that Allah replaces your wealth in America, you know how? If you donate with a credit card, Allah gives you miles and rewards to spend on your family. I don't make this stuff up, I'm serious. We're human beings, we know we do stuff. What's in it for me? Yeah, you can get miles and rewards. Just pay the bill before the end of the month so you don't get a bill and you don't get accrue interest on your account. Right? Whatever you want to give. So let us begin, let us make dua inshallah. This is not closing the night, it just closes the portion of the giving, just to close it off, but you can still give throughout the night, and indeed, of course, online. All I need from you now is to say Ameen as I make the dua. And focus when you say Ameen, and be selfish and say, oh Allah, accept my Ameen, because I know the rest of these people don't pay attention when dua is being made. Really, it happens. In the masjid, I tell the imams now in Ramadan, please send us by email the translation of the dua in English that you're going to be making in Taraweeh, in Qiyam, in all of the Tahajjud, because most of us, Arabic is not our first language, am I right? It's not. So we don't know what they're saying. What if they're saying, oh Allah, curse the people behind me, they're always burping when I'm trying to read Quran. And we're saying, Ameen, right? Say, oh Allah, curse these people, they come late for Salah every time. And we're like, Ameen. We don't even know what they're saying. Tonight, I'll be making dua in English. Most of the dua will be in English. I just need you to focus and say Ameen. And by the way, this Ameen is so powerful, subhanAllah. Think about what it means. It's connecting. We're asking Allah to accept whatever is coming before. And if you have children who are getting of marriage age, and you're going to get them married, have the beautiful ceremony, whatever you do, but try to do the kitab, the nikah, that portion of it in the masjid. Call the masjid and say, we have such and such is getting married. We want to reserve the masjid between Asr and Maghrib on a Friday. The most beautiful time for dua, and then say to them, this will shock them, say to them and send out the invitation for the wedding of the nikah, the kitab, to everybody on your list. Even if you only serve them a bottle of water and a date. If you only serve them that much, and someone shows up who you never met. You don't know who they are. They just saw the email, someone just told them there's going to be a wedding taking place, and they show up. And the imam, unless they forget, always makes the dua, oh Allah, bless this couple. Join them together in khair, in goodness, and Allah protect them and grant them righteous offspring. The person you never met, the person you don't even know, not in your circles of friends, shows up and sincerely says Ameen, subhanallah, that could be the most protection that couple could have ever had. So don't take the Ameen lightly. Make sure you focus and make your dua, inshallah. Allahumma ya Allah, ya dal jalali wal kamali wal ikram. Allahumma a'izz al-Islam al-Muslimin. Allahumma ansur al-Islam al-Mujahideen fi kulli makan. Ya Azizu, ya Jabbar, ya Kareemu, ya Ghaffar. Oh Allah, bless every single person who is able to join us tonight. Bless them for their participation. Say Ameen. Oh Allah, bless every single person who is thinking about donating, who has already donated. Oh Allah, bless them for whatever they're going to give. Say Ameen. Oh Allah, replace their wealth. Say Ameen. Oh Allah, multiply their blessings. Say Ameen. Indeed, oh Allah, if one of your servants tonight made a prayer, made a dua, before they made a donation, we beg you tonight to answer their dua. Say Ameen. If they asked for better health, grant them healing and a lasting recovery. Say Ameen. If they ask for more wealth, grant them more money, but don't make it a test upon them. Say Ameen. If they asked, oh Allah, tonight for healthy and loving relationships, improved relationships between husbands and wives, and parents and children, and grandparents and in-laws, oh Allah, grant us all the most loving and healthy and meaningful relationships. Say Ameen. Indeed, oh Allah, bless the founders and the volunteers and the staff of NABIC. Say Ameen. Indeed, oh Allah, bless the hands that cook the food that we're about to eat. Bless the people who will serve us, oh Allah, and indeed bless the volunteers who will stay behind long after we're gone this evening, seeking no reward and no thanks. Ameen, Ameen, Ya Rabbil Alameen. Jazakumullahu khairan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.
ITV, Call of Peace, Save Humanity.